The brand new Polish heavy tank line is incredibly fun to grind. The 60 TP is a really hard hitting tank, incredible frontal armor, and decent mobility. Tier 9 is a whole different playstyle with an incredible turret, great all down capabilities, and an IS-7 like gun. The Tier 8 is just fantastic. I mean, everything about the whole line is great. And we're going to be going all the way to the origin of the line, the 40 TP, in today's video, talking about the strengths, the weaknesses, and everything else you need to know about this vehicle while suffering or enjoying the grind up to the tier 10. Now this tank has a pretty solid gun when we get into it. It's got 2000 base DPM, its dispersion is 0.344 with a 3.8 second aiming time. Its gun is nothing amazing, but with 225 damage per shot, it's definitely enough to easily cut through enemy armor and at least make it feel like it punches a little bit. With its 8 degrees of gun depression, you're able to work basically any ridge lines that any other heavily armored vehicle would be able to at this tier, so that's pretty strong going for that. Mobility wise, it goes 40 kilometers per hour forward, but only 12 in reverse, not super fast there. And judging that this vehicle has 526 horsepower and it weighs in at 40 tons, it has an okay power to weight ratio of 13.1, averaging 27 kilometers per hour. Now the traverse speed at 37 degrees a second is pretty strong at that, and when we break into the armor of the vehicle, you'll see that it's great, but it's also bad. I mean, the upper plate is ridiculous. That is a 230 millimeter skid plate. If any shells from tier 7 or tier 6 plus 5 hit that skid plate, they will 100% of the time bounce. And you might think, well, isn't that very similar to, let's say, like the Thunder skid plate? And sure, while the Thunder does have a skid plate, you can see that it's only about 150 thick. And you compare that to this one at 200, I mean, that's ridiculous. This is a tier 6 heavy. Now, with its gun depression fully in use, which you can see here, it doesn't really have much armor. I mean, this is with a tier 6 aiming at it, and you can see it's 147 millimeters on the upper part and only about 83 on the lower part. The turret itself is very easy to penetrate with only needing 160 millimeters. Yeah, the vehicle itself, while it is decently armored frontally, isn't going to be bouncing every single shell. Really, the only spot that you are going to be bouncing shells is that little skid bar that really makes no sense. I mean, it's so ridiculously thick for a tier 6 vehicle. Now, is this vehicle going to be overpowered? How is it going to play? I actually have no clue. A lot of the higher tiers, I can obviously make a very educated guess just by looking at the statistics, damage per shot, blah blah blah, everything about the vehicle, and form a general consensus. But this vehicle is a bit weirder because it's a tier 6 and its armor is super weird. The gun is interesting. It's just a pretty cool tank. So what do we have on the enemy team? Well, we got a 40 TP, speaking of one, ARL 44, SU-100Y, Titan T-2457. They got some deadly tier 6s. I actually really like the look of this specific vehicle. It looks like it kind of carried on the Russian KV-esque design, but with a Polish twist on it. I actually really like that because one of the biggest downsides, I think, of the higher tier Polish heavies is that they look so funky. This one actually looks nice, so we're going to see what we can do. Now with the enemy ARL, I got to be a little bit careful, but for the most part, we should be able to work the original line here with our 8 degrees of gun depression. But as we talked about, the armor on the turret is not incredible, so I'm probably going to have to do like a peekaboo playstyle. And with this, not so great reverse speed of only 12, I mean, you can see here, even downhill, it takes a while for me to accelerate. Not always the best of cases. Now we got that ARL off to the side, and we all know how ridiculously strong ARLs are. But the good news is that since we've got that plenty of gun depression here, let's get one tap into you. Thank you very much. But we also got tapped in our tank as well. Let's tap that 5 key. Oh, I tapped the 6 key, or the 4 key. Oops. That meant we used the wrong repair kit. Well, that sucks. Now, we did get hit for about 100 damage, and that was a tank that was kind of sitting at the back of the map. So I'm not exactly sure what would do that, but clearly it is a tank that would do that. We got the Titan over here, and, well, we got penned once. We're probably going to be penned twice. Yep, there you go, 2 pens, and oh my gosh, that is not good for me. That is literally the entire enemy team pushing on up. So let's see if we can get a shell in. Nope, we bounced the ARL, and we got the BDR G1B as well pushing off to my side. So we got to be really, really careful here. There's one shot into the BDR, and with that we are reloading once again. That AMX is actually not enjoying this all too much, and actually the DPM on this tank is really solid. I mean, sure, it might not be the highest DPM of tier 6s in the game, but it's solid enough that you can pretty easily pump shells into your enemies. I mean, it's 2,000, which is about the same as the tier 7, and about actually more than the tier 8. So it's pretty strong on that aspect. Now we got that ARL over here, and let's aim at a premium shell. There you go, finishing him off. No longer having to deal with the ARL. Now, frontally speaking on the armor aspect, we haven't really bounced anything. I mean, we can really talk about the armor. While you do have that very troll skid plate, it's really not changing this vehicle from bouncing many shells. There is the 40 TP, and wow, we got a very unfortunate low roll there. But the good news is that we did end up having him taken out. There's a nice shot into the Steditzvong, and there you go, some actual good bounces on that skid plate. Finally talking about it, right? Let's see if we can get another shell into the Steditzvong. There you go. But I do got to be a little bit careful here. Thankfully, if we plop on our adrenaline, we should be able to out-reload his vehicle and finish the player off. So there you go. The first game went pretty well, actually. I mean, we had a bit of a worrisome part at the beginning where I was being rushed, but we were able to pick it up, and we're at 2,244 damage. All that's left is the enemy Su-100Y, which, well, that thing carries a naval ship cannon, but that's not going to stop me. Oh, there is the Su-100Y, and we are dead. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. He went right through my gun mantlet, as you can see there, but thankfully, judging that we do have tanks on our team, we should be easily able to come out with a victory. Nice shot from the Dickermax into the Su-100Y, and there you go, he's taken out. So the first game was not bad at all. We did around, what, 2,500 damage? I wonder if we mastered that. No, only a second class, but I guess that makes sense as everybody is trying as quickly and hard to get their hands on the tier 10 by grinding. So yeah, it makes sense that there's a lot of good players using this tank. But yeah, pretty good for the first game. Let's, of course, load in the one more and see if we can keep that up, or if it's going to fall apart very, very shortly. But yeah, the tank actually seems really fun. I like the alpha damage. The DPM is plenty to hold off hordes of enemy tanks. And sure, while the armor is nothing incredible, it makes up for it in the, should I say, the little skid plate. I think that skid plate is really cool. The fact that, I mean, if we go back to Armor Spectre, the fact that you can get ridiculous bounces on that upper plate. I mean, if we go up to tier 8 and we get a vehicle like the KV4, I mean, look at how strong that skid plate is. It's actually ridiculous how troll that upper part is. So I guess we're just going to wait until we load into a battle. Here we are on the second battle. Once again, not a terrible lineup. We're up against all tier 6s and tier 5s, judging that these are our first couple of games in the tank. Now, the tanks that I got to worry about, once again, are vehicles like the ARL-44 with incredible DPM. That tank has very high penetration, and as well, the tank itself just has really strong armor. The ARL is one of those few tier 6s that really do scare me. The 40 TP, I don't really know if the tank scares me. We're going to have to see how it is, right? We're playing it right now. Apart from that, maybe the M6, that's a little bit worrisome, but yeah, I'm not super worried overall in this battle. So here we go, speed is key, 35 kilometers per hour. Come on, step on the gas, let's go. I don't know how that was shot down already, but we're making our way across here, and perfect into position. So I'm not sure if the enemy team's going to poke this corner, or if they're going medium side. I actually have no clue, because nobody's been spotted over here, which is interesting to say none the least. Normally, you would spot at least something off to this side, but yeah, there's literally nothing here. So we're just gonna push on that speed dial, and here we go. Come on, 40 kilometers per hour. Sweet. Yeah, this thing's actually not slow. I mean, on flat ground, obviously, this is the flattest ground you'll find in the game. It's not bad, honestly. It gets up to mobility pretty quickly, and once you get there, it's not too shabby at all. So we got the Steditzvong off to the side over there. We got some tanks over here. We got the M6. Oh boy, that M6 is right in the front line. There you go, nice pen. And with that, we got a bounce rate on that skid plate that we were talking about just before. That skid plate really is super duper troll. Now, unfortunately for me, I did kind of sucky there. And oh boy, we've got other tanks coming up on me here. This is not what I really wanted. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is not good. This is not good. We are going to back up. I am going to die. This sucks. Okay, as I was talking about before, the reverse speed of this vehicle kind of sucky. Like, really, really sucky. So in that scenario there, where I was trying to actually reverse, yeah, I kind of died. Now, I'm not going to lie, that was my mistake, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't sleep at all last night, so I'm super tired. So, on the tank aspect itself, we already won this game. I mean, this was an incredibly quick game. Super quick, way faster than I thought it was going to last. But the tank, I don't think it's incredibly strong. I mean, it's a fun tier 6, but I do think the ARL is still better. I mean, its overall armor does a better job of bouncing shots. Its gun has more penetration. It's just a fantastic vehicle. And while I think this tank can be very good in certain instances, overall, I think the ARL is just a better tank. Sorry for this pretty poor gameplay, but man, I'm about to take a huge sleep of like 5 hours. So, yeah, hopefully all of you are doing well out there. Of course, if you enjoyed today's video, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But yeah, other than that, let me know what you guys think about the Polish Tier 6 and the rest of the vehicles on the line. If I missed any nitty-witty quirks and other things, let me know. But other than that, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye!